Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Refactoring. I'm Xterminator. Thanks for joining me, and unfortunately Will is not with me today. He had some real life stuff come up he had to deal with, but he definitely should be back for the next episode and mini after that. So today we're going over a factory submitted by Communism, I believe is his name. And he said he's quite new to the game, and he doesn't mind being roasted. I'm gonna try to be soft here. It's actually a really cool map. It's an island spawn here, so this is pretty awesome. And there's a few things I have looked over and decided to cover. So we can't obviously fix everything. That'll be the case with most factories here. You know, it's not going to be an hour episode, so we can't fix everything. But I'm gonna try to pick out the main thing. So the first thing I noticed was that there's an oil problem, a pretty big oil problem. And this is due to actually multiple issues. We're going to try to fix all of them, or as many as we can. And then there's also some other small things I want to fix. So just to look around the factory really quick, I really love factories like this because they're just so interesting. Like, in terms of efficiency, right, they're not very good. But in terms of just like looking at them and how they're built, it is so fascinating. And this really brings back memories of some of my first factories. I mean, just like all the spaghetti and stuff, it's really quite fun to look at and explore. You know, how people have routed stuff everywhere. But yeah, so we have an oil issue. And first things first. We're going to get something started here, and then we're going to go off to the oil outpost and change some stuff. So, tanks. There's a lot of tanks. And in our first episode, if you haven't seen it, you can go check that out. It's in the playlist. But we went over why you should not use tanks, or at least no more than one for each product. Just a brief explanation of that, again, is because the tanks have some issues. So, if we look at these pipes, you can see there's zero oil in here, right? They're just not getting oil. It's like not going up. However, when you look in these tanks, there's like 18-ish oil in every single one of these. And there's 6 tanks, right? So that's like more than 100 oil that is just never going to be used. Because it's just sitting here and it's not being pushed out the pipes. And even if you put pumps, the pumps may pull it out, but then the pumps cause other problems because they have a pretty low flow rate. But this is one of the main problems with tanks that I found, and Zuri and Will and stuff have found too, is that there's this oil just going to sit here forever. It's just never going to be used. That's 100 oil that you just can't get to. And it's even worse on the more tanks you have. So you look at this, same thing, 0. And we go over to a cracking, and they're just barely getting any. Some of them just aren't any at all. But then you look at these tanks, and there's like 20, 25, almost 30, 35 in all of these. There's probably close to 200 light oil sitting in here that is just never, ever going to get used because it's just sitting at the bottom of the tank and it just doesn't get pushed out. And then, obviously, the other problem with tanks is if you ever want to move them, you either have to waste a ton of oil or drain it, which is a pain pretty much no matter how you do it. So that's what we're going to get started here. We're going to drain these, and he is using a few mods which I grabbed, and we're just not going to cover anything with these mods because that's not what this is about. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut. This actually doesn't go anywhere, which is interesting. Okay, so it looks like this is the supply, maybe. Actually, not really sure what's going on here. So this is like our main bus of oil products. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the supply. And then we're going to pump all of this out. And I said pumps aren't the best. They're really usually not. But for this application, we literally want to just pull all the oil out of here as possible. So this should hopefully drain these very slowly. Doing its thing. So we're going to get that working, and this actually isn't as bad. So these we're just going to tear up. There's not much oil in here. So we're going to tear these up. In fact, based on the amount of cracking, which we'll go over in a second too, we don't even need tanks for this. This should just all be going straight to cracking anyway. Or lube. It looks like it's actually going towards lube at the moment, I think. Okay, no, this is being routed there. Okay. Then for this, what we're going to do is... Yeah, so this just directly goes here, kind of hits this if it needs it. That's fine. And then this one, these two, not really ideal. So we're going to get rid of this. It's a little bit of a waste, but still not bad. One tank is okay, preferably none, but one is okay. And then all these oil tanks, we're going to cut the supply off of that as well. And we're going to take this guy, and we're going to pump it all out, or try to, and get that working. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the oil. So what's happening here, right, is that was one problem with the oil. And we had these oil things going here, which are down to 0.1, and he speeded them and beaconed them. That's good. You know, that's good he's done that. You know, that's what you should do as long as you have the power to do it. So those are okay. But then we have another oil supply coming in, and this is an extremely long pipe. So this pipe comes in, connects to the thing, and this pipe runs, and I'm on his character. This pipe runs all the way over here, up through here, and all the way to this. That is a ridiculously long pipe distance, and you're going to lose so much throughput and flow over this long of a pipe distance. And then also one other thing is, I'm not sure if he like meant to do something with this, but this splits, so that this is where it's coming from, and it goes this way, but this splits, and this goes all the way down here, and it actually just dead ends like right over here. I'm not sure, it looks like maybe he meant to put like a pump here or something and didn't finish, but this just dead ends. This just ends. This is a lot of oil that's like being pushed down this pipe that's just going to nowhere. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to utilize some pumps. Now some of these are like modded pumps, so I'm not really... Yeah, I guess we'll use this. I don't really know. So we're going to do that. Hopefully this guy should go. If you need some power, maybe. Well, we really need one of these, but I'm just going to cut that off for now then, so the oil can go here. So we have this guy, which productivity is not bad. However, at this stage, when it gets down to 0.1, you might as well just speed module it. So we're just going to stick some speed modules in here. And then we have this one way up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change this to train delivery. Because the train delivery is going to be better for multiple reasons. The main one is that it's not going to be like 300 pipe links long and lose that throughput and flow. So we're going to take all these out. The higher level speed modules in here, the better. We don't really have many level 3, so we're just going to do this. This is beaconed, which is fine, like I said before. So this is coming down. We're going to leave this pipe. This guy's going to pipe. And we need to find somewhere to actually get a train in here. This is still a pretty long pipe length, which is definitely not ideal. But I think the best we're going to get is we're going to cut this off. We're going to run it through here. And we're going to have a train. And I know some people might be wondering why I didn't just do this off screen, so, you know, the video's not as long and I'm not doing this, but I want to show it, right? Because, you know, I want to show the difference of what he gave me compared to what I'm actually doing for clarity and stuff. So that's kind of why I do this on screen for these. So we're going to have a train come in here because this oil thing's already here, so that can be easily connected. Now, this is still pretty long, longer than I'd like, but because of the solar, there's no easy way except for bringing a train around the entire thing, which is a bit much. So I have some track, and we're going to have a train run straight along here. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, that may have broken something, so do that. Let's actually pull him back. Okay, hopefully we have enough rail. And then we're going to it's just going to be a 111 train. So double-headed, I much prefer these rather than loops. And we only need one really for this, for the barrels. So then what we're going to do is we're going to set... I think one of these mods changed the size of this wagon. Did they always be this? My middle mouse click is apparently not working. But yeah, so we're going to take this, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a barreler. Level 3 is fine. Okay, so that was coming through there. That's okay. So we're going to have a barreler. I'm going to stick it like here. And he is going to barrel the oil. Now, come version 15, we won't even need to barrel it, which will be really nice. We can just use the liquid wagon. So we're going to do this, do that, fix this guy. And then, of course, we do want this kind of buffer. In fact, we actually want this pretty close because we do want just like a one chest buffer. So we want a filter, and we already had one. So we want a filter instead of grabbing from this, and then another one importing, and we want some chests, and then we want like this, and then he will fill this up, and we'll do that. Give him some power. And this should hopefully be a lot better than running these massive pipe lengths. And I did previously set up some barreling in the base, so we will need to go do that. Now, if I could get... There we go. My middle mouse... I only need to do it like once. My middle mouse click, if I can get it to work. Okay, and then we can just copy these. So we're going to set it half and half to full, half to empty. And I am, for anyone new, I am shift right clicking to copy and shift left clicking to paste these. So now what we're going to do is we need to build a station on the other end and actually get the barrels coming in here. So we're just going to run this along here. And I would have liked to have brought it into here. In fact, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot of stuff. So those are like his spare steam engines. Actually, in here might be pushing it anyway. So I know, I mean, we're going with what we have to work with, right? I mean, this is not really an ideal spot to be doing it, but this is what we have to work with. So we're going to do that. And we have our barrels being made here. They're in a logistics network. So we're going to make another one of those. And we're going to throw our train stop here. And we're just going to call this oil unload. We'll need to go call the other one oil load. And we're going to call our train here. So this guy, it should have put fuel in there. So we're going to add oil unload. Now the conditions for this, like you can do much more complicated conditions. For this one, I'm literally just going to do, no, I will do an item count. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if crude barrels equals 0, it can go. And then we're going to add another condition for an item count. And we're going to say if empty barrels equals, or actually no, we're going to say more than 100. So this train can leave the station if it has no crude barrels in it and it has at least 100 barrels. Now there are better ways to do this. For this demonstration, we're just going to do that. So now we're going to call this guy. And he is coming here, so that's good. No path errors. And we're going to get rid of this pipe. Now this pipe is pretty much full, and that's just because we cut off the supply here. And speaking of which, let's go check our tanks, make sure these are drained. Pretty much, because we do want to get rid of these tanks before we start feeding more oil into this. So we're just going to get rid of all of these. Because the barrels are going to act as our tanks, right? The barrels have a way higher storage capacity for the space. So we're just not going to even use tanks. We're just going to get rid of the tanks entirely. And now we're going to feed this into here because we do want to clear this pipe out. But then we're just going to have this guy, and he should only, we're going to filter again because we don't want to be pulling the empties back out, right? So I'm going to do that. I think I needed to set the filter on the other one. So we're going to have him only pull out crude. We're going to unbarrel. He's going to be sticking the empty barrels in there, and this was actually one too close. There we go. I mean, this is not pretty. That's not really the point. And then this, we can just pipe. I mean, this is not a very long pipe distance. From here to here, I'd rather it be closer, but we can't really get a train in there. So this is going to have to do. This is still far better than running the pipe that entire distance. And this is going to be gone once we actually drain it. We don't want to waste all that oil, but that will eventually be gone, so we won't have to worry about backflowing it that way. And then we actually want some requester chests, probably. So we could actually even make this. Do we have a robo network in this area? We do. So we probably could actually make this even a requester. So he's going to request some empty barrels. He's going to request like 100 empty barrels. And this may or may not work. This may be end up being a disaster. But what this should do is once he fills up, this is going to hopefully drive back. Maybe. Crude barrel equals 0. Empty barrel is more than 100. So these conditions are clearly not working. Let's just say empty barrel equals 200. And we didn't add a station. That's why I didn't go, because I'm an idiot. So I'm going to add this station. And we're just going to do like the opposite. So item count, he can go when empty barrel equals 0. And he can go when crude barrel equals 200. Now, it's going to take a while for this to actually get that amount, but he will be bringing in quite a lot. So he's going to be unloading. And this is going to wait until there's 200 empty barrels in here. So then this, we want to make sure we cut this off so we can actually drain this pipe, right? So this flows down. Okay, so this I did actually cut off. So theoretically, this should be draining. Unless it's deciding to backflow. What I really need... Oh, we do have a pump here. So he's going to be pumping out here. He's going to be pulling, draining this pipe, and it looks like he actually probably drained it already. So we're just going to leave that because I don't feel like tearing it all up, but that's that. This guy, we also want to cut off, so do that, and then hopefully this should be drained. And this is coming in here. This we're going to reroute just so, because you don't really want like weird loops and stuff in here. I mean, this is pretty much doing the same thing I just had, but a little bit shorter. And then this guy can come here. Okay, so that's that, and oil should be hopefully better. Now, obviously, there's going to be some times when it's not working because it's going to be waiting to fill up. Now, I could, I think, change these conditions to be how I had them, is like more than 200. So if I just say if it's more than like 100, and then set this one for like the same thing, that way it's not going to wait as long because it only needs to fill up, you know, to at least 100. So this guy's going to come back, he's going to unload, and that should hopefully be better than having the pipe. So I don't want this to go too long, but just a few other small fixes we can do. to hopefully get things running a bit more fluidly. Whoops. Okay, so then this guy should not be backflowing. And the oil is obviously backed up because we have no light. And we have no light because I kind of got rid of all the stuff. I think I actually... Okay, so these have all been drained, which is perfect because we want to get rid of these and then we'll hook the light back up. We don't want any light storage tanks because it's all going to be cracked into petroleum. Now the cracking is a little bit off for the amount of refineries. He has 8 refineries here and like 20 crackers or something. So it's more cracking than you need, but I mean that's better than not enough. So he's sending some down the bus, which is okay. And then this guy gonna come here, he's gonna connect, and then this one we will just connect straight up like this. It's not clean, but doesn't need to be. So these are gonna run. And the last thing I want to do with the oil is not speed. We want to try to put productivity when we're kind of short on oil like this. We want to try to put productivity in every possible step. So we're going to take out these speeds, and I've made some productivity. I don't think enough. I have 14 of these, so I'm going to be exactly too short. And I have some level 1s. Well, that's better than nothing. So it slows it down, but you do get the productivity. Obviously, higher level, the better. And then if we had them, you would want productivity in all of these too, not speed. You would want a productivity all this. We don't have enough. So the next thing is science. So this blue thing, we have like 20 blue pack producers here. Or 16. Really, if you want a base rate of one a second, which is pretty typical, they take 12 seconds to make. So you're going to want like 12. The 16 is a bit overkill, and we have the same thing with the reds. The greens are good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They take 6 seconds, so that's perfect. This one had 5. It looks like maybe he added an extra here. So this is going to be a little bit off. It's not that big of a deal. So I want to fix this. This is a little wonky. It's just some belt stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to tear this up. And we're going to do a very similar thing that he's doing, but just a lot simpler. So we obviously want these on, on 2 sides of the belt. And side loading is not bad by any means. We're just going to do it a bit differently. So we're going to cut this off. And I like this. I love this. This is why I love these factories. It's so fun looking at this. I mean, really, this is not... It's a little wonky, but the way all these belts are going, there's not, like, really great ways to do it much better than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have him come here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to have this go like that. Have him come up here. I have to purge this belt. And it does kind of the same thing, but just cleaner. And now this is running like from here all the way over to here. That's definitely not ideal. There's not really anywhere else we can put the labs without tearing up huge sections of the factory. This spaghetti, I really do. Like, I'm not being sarcastic or anything. Like, I really do love this type of stuff where it just like weaves back and forth. So this is backed up. The problem we're having here, right? And storing acid in a tank is not great. One tank isn't too bad. So we're having some problems with red circuits for this. We have the batteries. We're missing the red circuits. So one thing with the red circuits is we don't need 2 cablers, right? It's a ratio of 1 to 8. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we actually do need 2, kind of. We actually would like a third here. And these are actually speeded. Again, if you're going to put modules, you would probably want productivity in here. So we'll leave those 2. Belting the cable for red circuits is not that bad, but we do have a plastic problem. So looking at this, we actually have a coal problem. And again, we can't fix everything. It looks like the coal belt perhaps got reversed. Okay, so that's a quick fix. The smelting. One last thing I want to touch on, the smelting. So we have some crazy belts going on here. I could fix these. These are not necessarily bad. So we have 2 incoming. And what he's done is actually quite interesting. These 2 run this way, all the way down here. They're like balanced again, which they look pretty balanced to begin with, so we really don't need this. So we're gonna get rid of that. And then this is like, and we have a little bit of input coming here. And what's happening is we have this guy going here, which then is split to go on this side and then turned to go on this side. And then this one is sent all the way back down this way and split to go here and over here, which is not ideal, but it is backed up. In terms of a ratio, this is a bit too many furnaces, I believe. 26 per side for a red belt. I'm pretty sure it's 24. So we could get rid of, say, like 2 of these. Overproduction is not bad, though, necessarily. But the plastic, the coal should be coming in. The plastic is still missing petroleum, but hopefully our oil should be better. It looks like our train may still be chilling up here. So we're going to actually have him come back. And then really we could get rid of some of these, because this is going to be too many and we can't even support it as is. So I think if we get rid of 4, we actually do need this for the purples, but that should fix, hopefully, you know, I mean, it's going to lower the demand on red circuits a little bit, which would hopefully help. And yeah, so there's our 12. This can be cut off. And I think what I'll do is I'm actually just gonna dump this stuff into the network rather than like grabbing it all in my inventory. I'm just gonna dump it into the network. So I'm gonna build a couple quick providers, throw it in the network. We'll need it for something. And I think that's about it. This video has gone on way longer than it needed to. But there you go. So those are some small fixes. The oil should be much better now that we actually have the train coming back and forth. These guys are also contributing, just going directly into the pipe. And this now has 16 barrels. And I mean, this whole pipe's full. It's a lot better than the long distance we had. This is kind of weaving through here, but all these are working. The productivity should help a bit. And yeah, I believe that'll do it. So thanks for watching, guys. Next time, Will be joining me, and we have a lot of really, really interesting factories to be fixing as well in the future. So that should be good. But I believe that'll do it. Let me know any thoughts you have. I know this was a bit long, but again, I like doing this on screen just so you can see the differences. If you think I should do some of this beforehand, let me know, and I will change up the style in which I do this. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.